Welcome to the SeraPhiend Podcast. We are reviewing the show Bridgerton on Netflix, and I am with my girls, Dr. Auburn, Chelsey, and Giovanna. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Oh, we are getting into the heat of Bridgerton right now.
I love this episode.
So
Me too.
I'm loving where this show is going, but I'm gonna have Giovanna actually start us off with where we ended and where we are beginning.
Yeah, so something we didn't touch on that last episode was the conversation between Lady Danbury and Simon. And it was a very pivotal conversation because the prince was introduced and obviously was interested in Daphne. And Lady Danbury basically was like, if you're not... If you have eyes, she said, if you have eyes, the whole city can see that the prince is after her now. So if you're not going to do anything, don't disservice her and, and get in the way. Yeah. And so this was after the moment that they had holding hands. So he now has this newfound love for her. And then he's told by the woman he probably admires more than anything, get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
In a sense. So that is when he decides at the very end that he's fleeing. He's leaving London. So that kind of...
So stubborn.
He is a pain in the ass. And he's so hot.
Just like a man.
And, yes. Yes. It has to be his idea or it's not an idea.
Exactly.
So then we go into episode 4, and that's kind of where this all escalates.
It does. And it's a hard episode to watch because you really are wanting you are left with the image of the painting and the two of them side by side.
You're cheering for them.
You want it so bad.
Yeah.
So we go into this presentation of this beautiful necklace.
Yeah.
And it's from Prince Friedrich.
Let's let Dr. Auburn talk on that one.
It just reminded me so much of being in Britain and going to see the crown jewels, and they're just extraordinary. There's one for every occasion.
Yeah.
There's rubies, there's sapphires, there's diamonds, and they just take your breath away. And I'm also just noticing moving forward that no diamond that she has gotten since then or that Daphne has worn has been as exquisite as the one that the Prince of Prussia gave her.
Yeah.
Just side note.
But you know what's crazy is she's, even after all this glamour and jewels, she still has one man on her mind. The one that's emotionally unavailable.
Does that not say something for us all? Modern day slap in the face.
This is a predicament. I don't know why. This is people are so attracted to people that are emotionally unavailable.
Maybe it's the thrill of the chase.
I think
or
so.
Being able to
Everyone
crack
likes the chase.
diamond,
Exactly.
Yeah,
being the one that caught the unattainable person.
My personal opinion about falling in love with the quote unquote dark horse problem guy versus the perfect guy who's got it all laid out is for a long time in my 20s and 30s, I think I dated some really good guys, but I also was a little bit lost about well, if my life is already laid out for me, what does that mean for me? So I was always looking for the kind of guy I could fix. It gave me a lot of sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And, I look at Daphne's character, and she's not quite like Eloise, who has found her purpose in being scholastic, and she's very opinionated. She's got a feminism kind of vibe to it. Daphne has a sense of responsibility to her family name. Her mom has been her example. Yeah. And I think that there's a real, and she's the first in line of her family.
But I would also say that she's found her place with intelligence. Some people are just meant to be beautiful minded.
Yeah.
And she's well rounded. Her piano playing, to her writing, to her speaking, her understanding of art. So all those things can be valued just on a different spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that it's tough because so much of this show is about relationships, right? About love and I think it's wonderful. But there are these moments, and this was one of those moments for me personally, when I was like, all right, like she's choosing to walk away from a really perfectly laid out life because of her passion for Simon.
Right.
And then you're wondering, you know, I had a little doubt in my mind. I'm like, is Simon really, is it, in the end, is she putting her future at risk? Is he challenging her, or is he just making her crazy? Because I think a lot of times we get swept up in relationships and we forget a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah.
You lose yourself, yeah.
I think though the Prince is a very I think we talked about this in episode 1 or 2, but the safe option. He's a very safe option. She's not going to get those. I mean, she's going to have a beautiful life, but is she going to get those like longing stares or like the electricity when you touch someone? That kind of passion like she has with Simon. She loves that. I mean, I think it's very exciting and interesting to her, and she's wants more than just a perfect life. She wants a beautiful life behind the scenes, behind closed doors, and wants to be fulfilled inside. So I think that was a really good example because we talk about this?
We did. And you know, I think a good parallel to talk about is when we have Sienna, who's living her passion as an opera singer.
Yeah.
And she's daring, and she does whatever the hell she wants, you know?
Yeah.
And there's really no man that's dictating her quote unquote profession.
Yeah.
Of course.
But then in the next breath, Anthony has the power to make her go absolutely crazy.
I don't like when she went after Simon, though.
She just did that to make him jealous. I don't think anything would have happened, but she didn't know about Simon and Daphne. But I get you. I feel
I was like, bitch, back up.
But she did that to make Anthony mad. You know, when they're in that room and
The lounge.
I wonder, and I'm just putting this out there to just and bite or don't bite. But do you think that men get as distracted from their true calling, or like, you know, like for instance, Daphne plays beautiful piano, but Aloise is always challenging her, like, well, are you going to finish this? What are you creating?
Exactly.
Or are you getting so your head goes the other way because you're so in this world of wanting to be defined by a relationship? Do you think, I mean, obviously this is a period piece, and obviously women, unfortunately at this time,
That's all they had.
Yeah. But now watching this show, and women who all have purpose, jobs, life, you're not just defined by a relationship. Do you find sometimes that your head gets turned away from your purpose with relationships?
I think it's the other way around. I think I will turn away from my relationship for my purpose, because I've just always been grounded in that. My mother and father were happily married, but my father passed away after them being married for 30 years. And so for me, like, living in that grief, sort of as Simon is living in his own grief, it changes the way you look at relationships and the way you observe things. And so I'm always on the other side of the spectrum, because that's what I can control. You know, I may be happy in my relationship, but he may die. Unfortunately, that's just how I think about things. So what am I left with?
Yeah.
Who am I?
I love learning these perspectives. What about you, Chelsey?
I think in general, yes, women are probably, I think your question was, do men get as distracted as women do? And
have you been distracted? I know I'll be honest, I'm putting myself out there. I can't tell you how many times I have denied my purpose out of love and relationships, because I believed that love was my purpose. Like, to love and to love someone was my purpose. And it's been really beautiful to have a man remind me that yes, loving him is a great purpose, but it's not my only purpose. And it took me a long time. So I don't think there's any, I feel like sometimes we're pressured to be like, well, in my past, I'm like, I still have moments to where I put a lot of focus on him and I forget a little bit about myself. So for the two of you, honestly, like where do you see yourself all?
I love being in my marriage and with my husband. I love to spend time with him. I also love to spend time by myself too. And obviously when you start dating someone, you want to be around them all the time, but as time goes on, you learn to take, you can tell that your cup needs to be filled by what brings you happiness. You said something about, yes, you can talk about your past, but yes, in my past, I was in a really serious relationship when I was young, and I totally lost myself, and I learned everything from that experience, and I never wanted to feel that again. And I can tell when it's coming up, and that's when I'm like, okay, I need to do something myself, whether that's go to a dance class, whether that's painting. I love to like draw and paint, things like that, things that bring me happiness, that are me. Hobbies are super duper important, but I think when you come to that point in a relationship, because I do, where you're like, okay, I love spending my time with this person, but I do need to like fill my own cup too. It's a weird little transition for a minute, but then it just makes you that much closer and that much more true to yourself. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Brutally honest, when I was younger as well, I definitely lost myself. And not many know this, but I actually withdrew from a softball scholarship 3 weeks prior to leaving.
Wow.
For a guy. So I lost myself in that, and this will be a topic you and I talk about on here later. It ended up horrible. Tragic. So now I am way more guarded. Chelsey has probably seen that in me, and my sister will say I don't let anyone in. So now I'm very much, if it interferes with my passion or my life, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to support me. That's my mentality now on it. So 19-year-old me, totally different. 28-year-old me is like,
that's the same as me.
So cute.
I mean, not the same situation, but
God, you're adorable. This also makes me think about the queen, though.
Oh,
what the hell are her hobbies?
I know.
Taking baths.
cocaine.
Cocaine.
She loves herself some cocaine.
Okay.
So funny. I didn't even realize the first time I watched this that when she was sitting with Lady Bridgerton, the mom, Violet.
Yes.
I didn't know she was doing
took it
all
like
these
10
snippets.
times.
I did not
Always
even
bumping it up at
went
lunch.
for it.
It was the second time I watched. I was like, "Whoa, that scene was a lot too."
Yeah.
You know what about that scene that stuck out to me is, you know how she kind of references the like guy behind her. He's like this. He's like the waiter. I'm wondering if he's Lady Whistledown. I'm wondering if that was like a little tiny
nugget.
Yes,
Interesting.
because the second time I watched it, she's like references or points to him basically and says like, we don't talk about stuff because he talks. I'm like, I wonder.
I must say,
that.
Lady Whistledown.
I know.
missed that.
I picked up on Whistledown so fast.
You know who it is?
Is
it Penelope?
Well, you can't announce it on the show.
Oh yeah. Well, we can all have our perspective. I mean, it's revealed later on, but yeah, I kind of thought it was her too, even at this point. But
I don't think it's revealed. I think they, but it's like Gossip Girl, where you think in every season it's someone, but they're not going to announce it.
I just hope it doesn't.
I thought
end
it
up,
was Penelope the whole time.
Yeah.
You did?
From the first moment.
Really?
I just hope they don't disappoint us like Gossip Girl. That's Dan fucking
know.
Humphreys. I don't want to dance like it'll be like someone like, I don't know. I mean, you know, like a lame character that you're like, what's his face? Burbrook. It's probably Burbrook, right? I know.
Burbrook. I thought he left.
So
anyway, wow.
So as we go
Large
off,
detour.
But it's great to go on a detour because again, it's about looking at something and really looking and reflecting on it. And this one has a huge scene, which is the duel scene. We get to the duel because let's go back to the necklace.
Yeah.
she freaks out. This
Yeah.
necklace is basically like a promise to Friedrich that she's going to marry him.
Almost like
and
an engagement ring.
And she wasn't expecting to see the Duke at this last final dance
Yeah, 'cause
that
she
we
thought
see
he
her
left.
at. Yeah, because his ship was supposed to leave at 9 p.m.
yes.
So she wasn't expecting to see him there, and then that's when he attempted to propose, and she had a straight up panic attack.
And boy, have you been there? Have you been there where you
No, not yet.
up against a wall? You're
Sorry, I can't say that I have.
But like up against the wall, and you're like, you want more time on a decision, and you're like, okay, but you got to pull the plug.
Ugh.
Oh, I've been there twice, but we'll save that for last. I've been engaged twice, and I am the runaway bride. But yeah, pretty interesting. And then this is Cressida, who we haven't really talked about, is like the Barbie blonde who really wants Prince Friedrich, and she's kind of the person who's that competitive, nasty frenemy, and
Yes.
she's trying to.
Frenemy is a good word.
She's a total frenemy to
is
Daphne, and she's just waiting to screw things up. So
You know what's so funny about that is Daphne kind of gets back at her by saying, you better be my friend because I'm going to
Be
be
the Duchess.
Duke.
exactly.
Do you want to be the friend or the enemy of the Duchess?
Exactly. I love that. I'm like,
Choose
yes.
your place, honey.
Yes.
Choose your place.
Know your role.
that is it. So when the jewels are taken out, like walk me through that, Chelsea, from when she takes the jewels off.
Yes, the Duke comes in and they have this like moment and they start kissing and things get very physical, and then Anthony, her brother, comes in, and this is like so forbidden. The Lady Whistledown like talks, and she says any of the, I forget what they're called, but the women that are like trying to get married, if any of them are not 100% pure, they're kind of like blackballed from society. Like they're not really eligible to be married. They're kind of like,
If you kiss someone.
if you kiss someone. So she says that a little bit earlier in the episode. I'm like,
does.
something's going to happen here. So when Anthony finds them in a passionate
Very
moment,
passionate moment.
yes, he basically says that he has to get married to her. And Simon says, no, I'm not going to get married to you. And anyways, they decide that they're going to have a duel.
What did you think about this whole interaction between the brother coming in demanding the marriage and the denial, and the like, what ran through your head?
Their relationship has just been so tumultuous the entire time, the Duke and the brother.
Yeah.
They're friends, and I think he knows they know each other's mannish ways, right? It's like, you don't want your friend. Okay, this is totally a situation right now because my brother is my significant other's friend. Granted, we were friends first.
Yeah.
But it's that same sort of thing. It's like, I know all the mannish things that you have done, and
Yeah.
I don't want you being with my sister. That is gross.
Yeah.
It is. And it's tough
Yeah.
to know. It's really tough to know the dark past of people and wanting them to be better versions of themselves, but you're like, but I know you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I know what you've done in the past, and that responsibility too of if they get involved with like friends of friends or people in your family, like where's your loyalty? Is it to your blood or is it to your friend? And the duel scene is so bizarrely awkward, but also like emotional, because
Yeah.
you can really see the friendship and the betrayal to each other as friends.
Yeah.
But then really like the loyalty to his sister. Anthony clearly has to show up for his sister. And then in turn, he's also giving up Sienna. And we can go into that in the next episode about what that he's giving up something on his own to fight for his family.
But the Duke is also being very loyal to his friend because he literally just puts his gun up
Yeah,
in the
I was
air.
going to say,
He knows
he's,
he
Yes.
can't shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Duke was definitely being loyal, and he knew he was, if Anthony was, he has a terrible shot.
He's going to kill him.
Poor Anthony, like he tries so hard to be the man of the family, but anyways,
God, it's hilarious.
in rides Daphne. The woman to save the day.
What was your reaction to Daphne coming in? I feel like this would totally be a Giovanna thing. I mean, I literally.
On this horse.
Totally. Like, wait a second.
With her, I think
But
she
this
even
cape,
has a
it was a
hood
beautiful
on.
cape.
Yes.
I want this cape. It's like gorgeous.
Yes.
All the way down to the
riding
ground.
boots.
Yes, her riding boots.
I was like,
All white underneath. Just
Yep.
I love that you say it's me because I'm like, you idiot.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, yeah, no, I was like, oh my God, this girl. But
She saves the day.
she
though.
literally saved her soon to be fiance and her brother from.
problem solver.
Yeah.
100% problem solver here.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, I love that you like she problem solved for those two real
yeah,
quickly.
she did. She was like, all right, I'm just going to take the shit into my own hands and end it right here.
Yeah.
And then, so that was the moment where I
But
was
she
like,
also takes the bullet.
that was
takes the-
missed.
I mean, she really does take the bullet.
No, she literally
emotionally.
takes the bullet.
She
for it.
does.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Big time. And then,
Yeah, and then that's pretty much the episode.
'Cause
I
then-
mean, it really is.
because yeah, they have to decide.
Yeah.
right
Now-
away.
How are we going to do this?
We're gonna get
Yeah,
married.
because now it's
She decides for him.
she
She
does.
does.
She does.
And he,
You're gonna get married to me.
Yeah.
This is not an option. You're gonna get married.
and then
to
he
me.
tells
Which is
her,
very much
"I can't
the
give you
power
children."
dynamic.
Yeah.
And she said, "No,
She
it's
flips
okay.
it.
Decision is
She
made.
does.
There will
Very
be a
much
wedding."
flips it.
Yeah.
She knows what she wants.
She knows what she wants.
She got it.
But little does she know that she thinks she got what she wants. And
Yeah.
boy, that's the other thing about us ladies is we think we know what we want and we have the right to change our mind whenever the fuck we want.
And we do change our minds.
We do now.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, this was a great little roundup of episode 4. Thank you guys for talking to me and talking all things Bridgerton. And we will be back for episode 5. Thanks for viewing. And if you like this, please hit the subscribe button, that little bell down here, like us, and give us your comments on how you feel about the Bridgerton crew. See you later.